Up at Valley of Fire, you have the 200 million year old sandstone. Not too exciting, except to look and see if you can spot shapes in Donald Duck or whatever the case. But after a while, people can move on from that and instead explore this. That's right up there. It's the Cretaceous Willow Tank Formation right up at Valley of Fire, but nobody pays any attention to it. That right there is the setting, just what you're seeing there. So yeah, get excited about geology. Move on from shapes in the rock. Okay, I did a hike into the Cretaceous at Valley of Fire. I've got a cold. Actually, I called in sick first time in a year and a half. I'm not that sick, but I don't want it to get worse, and so I stayed home. So, anyways, let's go to my hike up at Valley of Fire to the Cretaceous Willow Tank Formation. And there it is. I went down here and took pictures right in here and viewing up into there and up on the hillside and across here. And then I crossed over the wash, um, walked along here, took good pictures and video of the interface that's on the sandstone. Because the one thing I wanted to explain is that this Cretaceous, these blue greens of the Cretaceous and the baseline sandstone and willow tank formation is the interface that's soft and crumbly to where you can search it and dig it. That wasn't what I was doing. I have no interest in doing that. But the interface is on the sandstone, the Aztec sandstone. But that doesn't mean that up at Valley of Fire, all of the sandstone was covered with Cretaceous. So this right here is at 100 million years ago, and this right here, let's say 200, about 180, but let's say 200 million years ago. So there's like a 80, 100 million year unconformity, a gap. Okay, so people see these mesas and they think they heard that everything on top of the sandstone is Cretaceous. Well, it isn't. This is horse spring formation only 25 million years ago. All of the mesas in Valley of Fire, 100%, and you can quote me, are horse spring formation at 25 million. So the dinosaurs down here, when this was being laid down, of course they could look over and there would be high spots, not being covered up with the over the bank fines and gravels and stuff. Because remember that lakes, rivers were down low in the basin. So they would look over and see stuff above the ground level. Of course they would. And so therefore this was not covered with Cretaceous. A misconception I think people have, including myself at one time, is that everything, any layer, any formation covered everything and that everything was under miles of material that was uncovered. Well, that's simply not true. This surface here was never under miles and miles of material. So anyways, that was my hike, and then I did another one with Kurt, this one here through the Aztec sandstone and then back out, and right in here is where I dropped my camera. So let's go to Josh Bonde's PDF for the Willow Tank Formation in the Cretaceous. Anybody can go to this. This isn't my property. It says right in it at the start, it's free use for scholarly purposes. Okay, so let's go to the full PDF. And let's do it in order. So 13, page 13, there's the conditions when this Cretaceous was laid down. This up here, the same thing, but they go by different names. So there's what it looked like. Do not visualize that it looked like it does now. Now here's the chart, the graph. So as usual, here's this explanation because some people may happen upon this and that would be their first time seeing it. This is the Cretaceous, which is the baseline sandstone is the upper part. The Willow Tank Formation is the lower part that's diggable. That's why it's called that. It's softer and crumblier and it can be dug for teeth and stuff like that. And so if you drop this down, because all this is gone, it's sitting on top of the Aztec sandstone. So, well, it's only one page down. Let's do this. So now here's a graph of that, of this. This here, here's the graph of it, a side view. So the Willow Tank Formation is down here. It's this section. See how it's undercut? Because it can be dug and it's kind of softer and crumblier. It's not practical. You can't saw up all the sandstone and look for bones. They're there, but you can't do it. So this is the Willow Tank Formation, this in here. And see it sitting right on the Aztec sandstone. And so here's the white member of the baseline sandstone, which is lower. And there's the red member of the baseline sandstone, which is up higher. And so when you see this red baseline sandstone, you can easily mistake it for this. So that is why when out there looking around, you look for gravel and flood gravels in it, in this. That identifies what it is. Otherwise, you're going to get all mixed up. I know I did. I would hike around in this stuff. I did not have the slightest damn idea of what I was looking at. I didn't even know it was Cretaceous. And so I saw gravel and flood deposits in there, and I thought, oh, wait a minute, I thought this was sand dunes. I thought it was sand dunes. How did gravel and stuff like that get in here? That's because it's not that I was a dumbass, I just didn't know at that time. Okay, so now here's the goal for me is to go up there and redo this picture. Okay, and I'll show you where the picture, let's see if Google Earth is still up. Yeah, okay, I'll show you where this picture was taken, and I didn't make it there yesterday. I didn't have time. But you see, here's the Aztec sandstone on the right. Here's the Willow Tank. See, it's worn down because it's softer. These mountains and stuff you see, those are in the background. See, in the foreground, you can see it here, but just barely. So I want to redo this picture. And then the baseline sandstone is on top. Baseline, working down, Willow Tank, Aztec sandstone, and 80 million year unconformity right here. That's an 80 million year unconformity because then you ram right into 180 million year old Aztec sandstone. Okay, so now let's go to this picture here. Keep this in mind. Let's go back to Google Earth. That picture, and I knew this, but I didn't have time to get all the way down in there because I was meeting Kurt for the hike that we did. Okay, so see between these two cuts here and here, this is where all the digs were done. Almost all of them were here, like here, 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 and here. That's where the digs were done, right in there, in the Willow Tank softer stuff, right along there. And so the picture in question, this one, was took in here looking this way. And so I'm going to go back there and then redo that picture. But right here, walking along in this Willow Tank of the Cretaceous, you could blunder upon anything. I mean, there is no telling what a person might find. So now I'm going to stop this. Let's see if I'm done there. Yeah, I'm going to stop this and then add this to the video. I've arrived down in the main wash for reference for the video, and I'm approaching the Cretaceous. The goal is to get there, explore, and then head back about an hour later. Now I'm over on the other side of the ravine. So I'll do a series of pictures and short videos, I guess. But see the contact layer? That white stuff? Look at how thick it is. And of course, notice how this area of the willow tank is worn down. Why? Because it's softer. And so that capstone up there, that's baseline sandstone. Now this is more the baseline sandstone that's fallen down from that cap rock over there, up there on the top. So see, this is the sandstone. It's not that it's non-fossiliferous. It's that it's not practical to excavate every inch of sandstone. So it's not searched unless somebody sees something sticking out, and then they would come up. I'm racing to get back, and I just want to show the vast amount of the Cretaceous that's here, especially if a person thinks they want to come up and find a tooth. Well, you got a lot of material. You see that stuff there, the same color in the middle foreground? All of that you're seeing is Cretaceous. And that's a long way off. So you got a lot of material to search. The actual contact material is darker. I'm not sure why, but I'll ask. The Cretaceous material up at Valley of Fire was laid down in a vast area. Up at Valley of Fire, you're only seeing what is left and what's exposed. So when you're up there, don't look at the landscape and picture, well, there was a basin right in here, and this was the hill over here, and the river was right here, and the dinosaurs were over here. No, they were all over the place, a massive area. So let's look at this. So this is the same thing as what was occurring there during the Sevier overthrust, where the Cretaceous, the gravels and everything were laid down. It was the same conditions as this, as per Wayne Rainey. Okay, so in front of this overthrust, in the front out here, even though you don't see it, it created 4 land basins, a big one and then a smaller one over here. So like Valley of Fire, where we're talking about, would be a tiny little speck on here. And yet all of this is a 4 land basin. So let's see what it looked like. See all that material? See the oxbow lakes and oxbow rivers and little lakes and stuff like that? That's a huge area. The part of the Cretaceous up at Valley of Fire in question would be a little area like maybe like this that's exposed. But no, the foreland basin was huge, like what you're looking at.